after the hurricane, we went into, after Rita, we went into Homer. Every community is so unique. So you can't take the same tactics like we use in the Ninth Ward and take it to Homer. And here, as you know, there's no cemeteries. So their emphasis was on rebuilding their homes and their schools. But in Punisher, the emphasis was upon reburying their loved ones. So the task there was reburying bodies. And in Plaquemine, it was basically preparing sites for the FEMA trailers. So in every area it was different. But we have the only reason why Algiers didn't flood in the aftermath of Katrina and right before Rita, or during Rita, volunteers that we had basically from Oberlin College.
My cousin went to Oberlin.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they came down and those kids worked, I ain't going to, that's the wrong word. Those young people, they worked 20 hours a day for 3 days, cleaning all the storm drains to make sure that Algiers didn't flood. And that was the only part of New Orleans, really, besides the French waters, that wasn't flooded. So that was the side that, at the aftermath of Katrina, that was used as City Hall. But they worked 3 days at 20-hour days to make sure that it didn't flood. We have passed out almost, I would say, close to 1,500 respirators. Because in the aftermath of Katrina came also a mold infestation. And respiratory ailments at that time was probably the number one health issue. We was there for that. We opened up the Ninth Ward, period, and the lower Ninth Ward. We opened these areas up. The city didn't have no plans for to rebuild this area at all. They wanted everybody over here to move across Claiborne or anywhere else in the city. And it was a good plan, because this area is at risk and it's still at risk. Our contention was that no one had the right to make a decision without allowing the residents in here to participate in that process. So we fought for that.
We kind of have some questions based on that and on what you're saying about each community being different. I'm interested in, I come back.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just wanted to introduce y'all to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And Kathy have a place across the river called The Village, and hopefully y'all get a chance to see that before you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going there tonight.
I'm yelling town.
Cool.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe tight.
I know I am personally called to come back here. I keep coming back. This is the 5th time I've been here, or the 4th or the 5th. But I know a lot of the kids that come to Common Ground and then kind of feel like they want to be able to take this excitement that you have for community development and how you were saying crossing racial barriers and crossing economic barriers back to Milwaukee or back to Ohio or back to Chicago, wherever. How do you see Common Ground and maybe the New Orleans community right now as being an example to the rest of the country?
I wouldn't say to the rest of the country, it's to the rest of this planet. If we're going to save life as we know it, it's going to take the initiative of young people like yourself that have put all their differences aside to work for a common good. in the early days, they was telling people that it was too dangerous to come here.
They still are.
But God bless it that it have never been no major incident of a person here, in any kind of criminal experience. So with that, and with the idea of what some of the young people have came here with, I've been a member of the Green Party now for 18 years. And I've seen and heard many theories. But it wasn't until the aftermath of Katrina I seen all these theories being put into practice.
Yeah, we're so impressed.
Yes, that's the part that always, with the work I'm doing now, because see, in the city of New Orleans, in the aftermath of during Katrina, and I want you to try to understand what I'm saying is that when a hurricane happened, or a few days before because a hurricane is one of the most survivable disasters that can happen in America. It's unlike any other disaster. Any other disaster, you only have hours, if not just minutes. But with a hurricane, you have days. So we had 4 days in the warning that this hurricane was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Every other parish surrounding New Orleans made sure that transportation was available for those who did not have transportation to evacuate their communities. Plaquemine Parish, St. Bernard Parish, Jefferson Parish, every parish except New Orleans. And the part that got me more than anything else is that I'm still a little bitter about it, and I pray that the Lord will bless me that He could take that bitterness away from me. Is that all the so-called community leaders, they abandoned their communities. They left too, and they didn't worry about the community that they say now and that they said before the hurricane that they represent. They represented them when they were doing good time. That's why I call them good time community leaders. But at the time that the community was most vulnerable, there was no one. All the so-called community leaders had left. All the so-called spiritual leaders had left, with the exception that I've seen too. Reverend Brown, who was a real hero of Katrina that no one really recognized, because he opened up a kitchen and started cooking meals hours after Katrina, feeding people, and fed people for all the way until the community was able to recover. Another minister, he just stayed to watch his church, but at least he stayed. Mm-hmm. But you didn't find, when the day before the hurricane, if a person wanted a place to go say a prayer, it wasn't in it, because all the churches was boarded up. Mm-hmm. And the most heart-wrenching sight is when you're seeing everybody leaving, because the mayor's saying that, hey, a Category 5 hurricane gonna hit this city, and they estimating that 60,000 people gonna probably perish. And you look around and you see everybody driving out, but you can't. You just stuck there. Everybody leaving.
Why were people stuck here?
Because they had no way of leaving.
Okay.
And there wasn't a shelter or a facility at that time that was even open for them to say that, hey, I could go ride this out any place.